I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this evening's meeting. This is the fifth meeting of the Board of Directors of the City of Hot Springs. We'll begin with the invocation led by Worship Pastor Andre Simon of First Baptist Church, and I'll lead the pledge. All rise.
Our Father, we give you thanks and praise for your mighty works and for creating us and giving us this day. Thank you that you made us in your image and that we get to exist in this community with these folks, and for the freedom that we have to gather here tonight. May Hot Springs be known as a city that confesses you as Lord, a place of hope and peace, a city with happy homes, a city that welcomes strangers, cares for the needy, and defends the innocent. Thank you for these, our elected officials, and the businesses and the churches and families that make this city the great place that it is. I pray for our leaders tonight, national, state, and in our city, especially these before us. Be with our judges and attorneys as they stand firm for truth and justice. For our law enforcement, pray that you would keep them safe from any harm as they serve our community. Pray for this council meeting tonight that you would give them wisdom and guidance as they deliberate on the items that is before them. And may each decision be weighed as our benefit, for our benefit, and for your glory. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Director Aaron Holliday.
Here.
Director Phyllis Beard.
Present.
Director Marcia Dobbs-Smith.
Here.
Director Dudley Webb. Director Karen Garcia.
Here.
Director Steve Trusty.
Here.
Mayor Pat McCabe.
Here. At this time, we'll consider approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions to the agenda, or items on the consent agenda to be moved to new business?
I move approval of the
Got a
agenda as
motion by
presented.
Director Garcia to approve, seconded by Director Trustee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Agenda is approved. At this time, we'll consider approval of the minutes. We had a couple sets of minutes, a specially held meeting on February 25th, 2025, and the regular meeting that was scheduled for February 18th, but then rescheduled to February 25th. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Director Garcia, seconded by
Second.
Director Dobbs-Smith. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Two sets of minutes are approved. Recognition of guests. We have a special proclamation that we're going to present to Virginia La Liberty, who's an advanced practice nurse with Jenner's Cancer and Blood Institute, regarding Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. I know she and many of her colleagues are here today, so please feel free to come up to the podium. City of Hot Springs proclamation. Whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths among men and women combined in the United States, claiming over 52,000 lives each year. And whereas it is estimated that more than 150,000 people will be diagnosed with colorectal cancer annually, including an increasing number of individuals under the age of 50. And whereas colorectal cancer is highly preventable through regular screening, early detection, and a healthy lifestyle, yet many people do not undergo routine screenings due to lack of awareness or access. And whereas raising public awareness about the importance of colorectal cancer prevention, early detection, and cancer treatment can save lives and reduce the overall burden of this disease. And whereas organizations such as American Cancer Society, Colorectal Cancer Alliance, and the local health care providers are dedicated to educating the public, supporting those affected by colorectal cancer, and funding vital research. And whereas the citizens of Hot Springs are encouraged to wear blue, participate in awareness activities, and support those who have who have been impacted by colorectal cancer, to honor survivors and remember loved ones lost to this disease. Now therefore, I, Pat McKay, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, on behalf of the entire Board of Directors, do hereby proclaim March as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and urge all citizens to recognize the importance of colorectal cancer prevention and take proactive steps to protect their health and the health of their loved ones. And when this whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on this 4th day of March in the year of our Lord 2025. So you get a fresh signature.
Awesome. Thank you.
Please feel free to make a few comments.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity, Mayor McCabe and Board of Directors. As our proclamation, or his proclamation said, that colon cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths and can be preventable with regular screenings and healthy lifestyle interventions. Arkansas typically ranks well below the national average for colorectal cancer screening. And with advocacy, we can drive people to empower people to take charge of their health and implement these changes to reduce not only individual outcomes, but to strengthen cancer control nationwide. Together, we can have a bigger impact because no one should have to face cancer alone. And I appreciate you guys recognizing this and giving us this opportunity.
Well, thank you very much and continue the good work.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Oh, we have a question here,
Oh, yes.
Director?
Could you remind everybody when Relay for Life?
Absolutely. So our local Relay for Life we held annually is a fundraising event for American Cancer Society, which contributes to, of course, many avenues of research. It is also just an opportunity to recognize survivors, honor our loved ones who have already passed with a luminary ceremony that occurs during the event. That will take place at National Park College on April the 5th. That's a Saturday at 5 p.m. We would love for you all to attend. Survivors and participants are welcome to register at the website relayforlife.org and look for the Southwest Arkansas event. And survivors will be sent a t-shirt as well when they register. So thank you.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Well, thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Grace Ann Chastain to the microphone. She's the president of the Farmers Market Board and will provide us our annual report. So welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I just want to thank you all for allowing us this time and for the city for its support, continued support of the farmers market. We really appreciate you. Okay, so I'll just start with, this is the boring stuff, the financial stuff. I know it's small. Hopefully you can see it. Generally, I just want to briefly go over, the last 2 years, we've made within $30 of each other, $30,268.40 this year, which is kind of where we're maxed out. And as a result of that, we've got some stuff we want to do in the future, one of which is become a 501c3 and hopefully help to expand the pavilion at the farmers market. But we'll talk about that here in just a few. Some of the changes that we made, as you know, there was a change in leadership in July of the farmers market. And some of the changes that we've made since then include we've added 3 vendors to the board to represent each category, which includes the farmers, the value-added vendors, and the artisans. We have added a program called Market Spread, which is made for markets to run, which includes making the map, taking the payments, gives us the ability to generate reports, do all of these things, all in the, we're trying to become more transparent, and we want to be able to have the ability to give everyone that information. We've hired a paid market manager who's not on the board, which is something we've needed for a long time. And that's in the, we want to make sure the market's sustainable moving forward, no matter who's on the board. We've also started collecting perishables each week and donate them to local nonprofits. And that includes Jackson House, Potter's Clay. We have a veteran who takes it to a local place that he knows. In addition, we have the way that we know how many people are coming to the market as a turn, like when it comes to customers, would be by looking at SNAP and Double Up Food Bucks, in addition to our people visiting our website. And since we've taken over in July, as you can see, the Double Up Food Bucks and SNAP this year was almost double what it was the previous year, or significantly more. And that's because we had a dedicated market manager at the table to take that, and that benefits our low-income residents in Garland County and Hot Springs. And this is the first year we've actually elected to take SNAP all year. It's always been an option. We just didn't know about it. Additionally, this shows our visits to our website. The top is 2023, the bottom is 2024, and you can see in July how it stayed steady. We changed the way that we advertised. We went mostly to Facebook, which also saved the market a lot of money. Moving forward, I just want to talk about how we're going to continue to become more transparent. We hope to get our 501c3 application approved, to be able to apply for more grants, to give the market more money, to do more things within the local community. We recently partnered with the Arkansas Grown Conference and Expo, which was the state's largest farmers market that day. Thanks to our vendors, we had 75 local vendors show up. And we were at the convention center that day, and we had our vendors got wholesale deals that day. So it was a really great deal, and we hope to do that in the future as well. We're also establishing committees that each of our vendors or anybody in the community can be a part of. Events committees, advertising committees, budget committees, application committees, anything that we can do to involve people, to give them, to make our vendors especially feel like they're a part of running the market. So with that, I just want to say everything we're doing is moving towards transparency with the committees, market spread, adding vendors to the board, and we just appreciate y'all's support moving forward.
Do we have any questions for Grace? Well, thank you for what you do, and I'm sure, and I know that everybody enjoys the market.
Yes.
Yes.
And we appreciate having y'all out there.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll hear from our city manager for the city manager's report. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. As I often do, I want to start off by recognizing some of our new hires on our promotions. Melanie Camp in Animal Services. We have a new officer there. Isaac Johnson and Larry Marshall have joined us with the Wastewater Maintenance Tech Group. Andrew Snyder, Solid Waste Relief Truck Driver. Jay Sells is an airport lineman. Donna Yon, District Court Deputy Clerk, and then Chris Joanitis is our Community Resource Center Director, and his first day was actually yesterday. Promotions, we have Mike Churchwell promoted to Senior Tractor Trailer Driver. Sean Booth was promoted to a Utilities Crew Leader. We have several in our police department. Chase Berry, Derek Hood, Christopher Pierce received their badges and were pinned this past week. Seth Jones and Brandon McAdoo were promoted to Corporal. Trent Chaddock and Jason Green were promoted to Sergeant. And Zach Brown was promoted to the rank of Lieutenant. So congratulations to all of those promotions and those joining our city family. I also like to recognize our Hot Springs Fire Department driver, Robert Haggard. Robert retired on February the 25th after more than 29 years of service to the Hot Springs Fire Department and the citizens of Hot Springs. So want to recognize Robert. He a wealth of information that's leaving, and some of the comments we heard from the younger firemen that were over there were all about how he's trained them, how he's mentored them, and he's left a good legacy behind. So congratulations to Robert Haggard. The Planning and Development Department is accepting survey input on preserving our community's unique history for the Heritage and Historic Preservation Plan. They'll be accepting comments through March 10th of 2025. Input can be, you can participate by going to Hot Springs HSRpreservationplan.com or going to the Hot Springs website, and that'll be over on the planning page. But if you have some input you'd like to have, you have until March the 10th to do that. Operation Clean Sweep. We're kicking off our first Operation Clean Sweep, It actually started yesterday, where we have two person teams from Planning and Development, Neighborhood Services Division. They go out, distribute information packets door to door. These packets contain information concerning various city services that are offered, as well as what Operation Clean Sweep is. While they're there, if they notice anything that is outside of the code, then they're giving some preemptive notices that some of this may be in a violation. They're able to take care of that. The second week, Solid Waste Department, our Clean Attractive Property Service trucks will visit the neighborhood daily. They're collecting all of those items placed curbside with no overhead obstructions. However, there is no cost, and it doesn't count against any of the free collections that we do for the year. The city street sweeper will travel through the area. Alternative service workers from our Hot Springs District Court will also be taking, we'll also be augmenting the cleanup efforts. And for those that have questions, they can call Solid Waste Services at 501-321-6911. And then week 3, which will be March 17th through March 21st, neighborhood services inspectors will follow up on any of the notices of violations that they were addressing on that first week. Police department will provide additional neighborhood patrols targeting any type of drug activity. Fire department personnel will address fire safety concerns identified during the sweep. Animal services, if there are any issues that the team saw while they were there, they'll be addressing those from the door-to-door visits. And then, hopefully, we're making an impact in that area. This area is going to be primarily in the East Grand to East Grand and Spring Street area, all the way over to Festival Street. But glad to see that. It's our first one. We try to do one every quarter in different sections of the city. And so this will hopefully help the residents in that area beautify their neighborhoods. It's part of the latest phase of the Malvern Avenue beautification project. Members of the traffic division has been working on installing 18 new Grand Federal decorative light poles along Malvern Avenue. If you've seen them, you've seen about half the poles in a lot of areas. But that's from Grand Avenue to Jefferson Street and Convention Boulevard to Church Street. In addition, members of the street department has laid new asphalt along the areas where we had to cut for the electric for the lights. There's also plannings that'll be happening over the next few weeks. But I spoke to a group Saturday, the Gateway Association, and when you look at Malvern Avenue, pictures from it as far back as 10 years ago to today, it is completely transformed and continues to. The city's invested over $1.6 million in Malvern Avenue over the last several years to bring that streetscape back and have another, and really it's our Black Broadway, that has needed attention for quite some time. And so it's another gateway into our downtown, and we're very happy to make some of those improvements. The Parks and Trails Department are excited to see the final phase of Velocity Park coming to fruition. American Rant Company came in on the last part of January and started forming the track. February 14th, all of the features were installed. If you go down there on any day, you'll see kids riding the pump tracks that we've installed over at Runyon Street and Valley. A lot of play getting on those, so glad to see that. The last thing we're going to be doing is painting the Velocity Park logo and then laying some additional sod, but the park has really transformed that area. If you haven't been there, you need to go down and take a look at that. We also offered 3 trainings for Hot Springs Planning and Development Department on the new zoning code that took effect on March 1st. We had Camaros here, and really most of the training was for support staff here within the city, as well as members of the Planning Commission. Animal Services, Hot Springs Animal Shelter is excited to announce we've got a new 30-foot by 40-foot play area, basically for dogs to get out and stretch their legs. But more importantly, for those that are wishing to adopt an animal, it's a place they can take them, play with them for a bit to see how that interaction happens, and potentially rescue one of the animals that is there at our animal shelter. We had a half-price adoption event for Valentine's, February 13th through the 14th. We had over 30 dogs and cats that, I say 30 dogs and cats and one rooster, that were adopted through the event. But really, really pleased with the work that they're doing down at Animal Control. They've got some good leadership happening down there. On February the 22nd, members of the Hot Springs Police Department, as well as numerous other organizations, participated in the Hot Springs Polar Plunge event for Special Olympics. In total, the event raised $14,000 for Special Olympics of Arkansas athletes. I did not get to do it with them this year. I heard it's pretty chilly out there the day they did it. I was out of town, or I would have plunged with you. On February 4th, citizens noticed some members of the street division, Rob Scott, Josh House, Shamori Mitchell, Joe Thomas, and Jeff Alexander. They were out replacing some of the large corrugated high-density drainage pipe. These were new drainages that were installed between 204 and 222 Walter Street. So we had several calls from the residents in that area thanking them for the work that they did. I actually had a text from a gentleman today on another area where Stormwater and Public Works Street Department were over there doing some additional improvements. So those things are being noticed, as well as the street pavings that we've done. Appreciate any of those calls whenever we receive those. It always makes us feel good to know that our employees are being recognized for the work that they're doing. Mayor, that last thing I got is State of the City. I did that last week. It is published and on the city's website, so if you missed that last week, you're able to go and get a copy of that and look at the state of the city. We're doing tremendously well. We had a lot of wins last year. Those are all recorded in that State of the City address. So I encourage you, if you did not see it, to go online and be able to read about that. Mayor, completes my report.
Bill, did we not just get recognized or award in Washington on our intake?
We did, and there's
You
going to be a
wanna
press release coming out on that.
Okay. Am I too early on it?
No, not at all. Anytime we can brag on that, we want to. Our intake structure on Lake Ouachita was recently recognized, and it was announced they'll be recognized at the upcoming gala in Washington, D.C. It's a national award for the project through the Engineers Association, the National Engineers Association. I don't know what that acronym is right off, but we're pleased that project was recognized. We have Christ Engineers that will be up there to receive that, as well as a couple others, Michaels that perform the work, and we may have a representative from the city join them to accept that award. So really big news. It's again, that particular project, that's the first time anything like that's been done in North America. So
Wasn't there
it was
just
glad to
like
see it.
6 awards? We were one of 6 or in that category?
Yes.
And what was so special about our intake?
Well, we drilled a 60-inch hole through Blakely Mountain for about a half mile.
Yeah.
Got about halfway, and we weren't sure we were going to get through that particular little part. A mountain has the same geology on the front end and the back end, but you hit that middle, you know what you're going to get. And we were in some pretty hard rock, but they retooled the device, got through it, and what's important about that is we came out at a depth. These engineers are brilliant people, by the way. We came out at a certain depth of Lake Ouachita. That pressure, the head pressure from the lake, will push that water 17 miles to the water plant with no pumping, and so it saves a lifetime of pumping cost. And like I said, it was really. I won't say risky. They felt for sure they could do it. They've done it in other countries, but it was cool to see it happening here in Hot Springs, Arkansas for the first time in America. So glad to see that project and glad to see it being recognized. It really was a mega build.
So when we entered into Lake Ouachita, we were at what, the 40-foot level above?
33, Todd?
535.
Which is what, below normal pool level?
Normal pool, 578.
Very good. Well,
They're
I just
asking
wanted
me to do
you to brag on it a little bit since that might have been yesterday's news a long time ago. We need to bring it back to the front.
Hey, with what we're doing there, and hey, this plant's coming online later on this year. We should be testing hopefully sometime around that September timeframe. It's going to take probably 2 months to get through the test and get the approval from Department of Health to use it. But by the end of the year, we should have Lake Washita water in our new plant. And I will say that we're already treating Lake Washita water at our current plant. We had a diversion pipe that takes that water over to our current plant. So we're already treating from Lake Washita, but having the new plant up and running is going to be a big win. It's going to add, as you know, 15 million gallons a day of water to our inventory.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now we'll hear from individual directors regarding announcements of upcoming events. Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. You know what time it is, right? It
About
is
6:25.
6:25, but what else? It's also parade time. That means it's the 22nd annual World's Shortest St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up before our next business meeting. And we have preliminary activities beginning on Sunday, March 16th. The entertainment district opens up at 3 p.m., but at 4 p.m. is the 0K race. Are you registered?
No, but we're at like 400 people
And
registered.
16 states already and gaining, so we need to all be registered. I'm registered, and I expect every board member and the city manager and city attorney to be registered also. So I will see you there. At 6:45 on the 16th, the King and Queen coronation occurs, and then a preliminary free performance from Grand Funk Railroad. On March 17th, the entertainment district opens up at 3 p.m. also, and a full afternoon of activities with the parade beginning at 6:30 p.m., which will again be recorded as the world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade, followed by the Molly Ringwald's free performance. You want to be there. You don't want to miss this. So please plan to participate in these great activities.
Very good. Any other announcements from directors? Director Holliday?
Thank you. I've got a couple. Reminding everyone that it is Gallery Walk Week. A few weeks ago, I announced the Lantern Festival that Emergent Arts is doing. Unfortunately, it rained that weekend, so it didn't happen. So if you've ever had anything to do with paper lanterns, you know they don't mix with the rain. So we're rescheduled for this Friday, starting at 4 o'clock. The lanterns will be up, and when the sun sets, they'll be illuminated. We have traditional Chinese entertainment down there, so definitely if you're out for Gallery Walk, stop by David F. Watkins Park at 811 Park Avenue. Also, something special this month for Gallery Walk is the Have a Heart for Art event. It's an annual event where there's artwork created by public school students and some of the private schools here in town. This has been going on for probably about 20 years now. I don't really remember. We did it at Emergent Arts for a long time. It'll be at the Arlington Hotel. It'll start actually at 10 a.m. to go see that student artwork. And Have a Heart for Art was started in recognition of a girl that I went to high school with who actually died in college of an undetected heart condition and died suddenly in her sleep. And her parents started this to raise awareness about heart health for young people. And so, you know, it's still going decades later. So definitely it's always a lot of fun. Anytime little kids are making artwork, it's a cool thing to look at. So again, that will start this Friday at 10 a.m. at the Arlington Hotel. Thank you.
Additional announcements? Nobody else has announcements? Well, we have spring break coming to Hot Springs and in the entire state. March, starting this Friday through the 16th, the state of Texas, Mississippi, and Tennessee are on spring break. And it's when Texas comes to Hot Springs, you know, it's bumper to bumper. And then the following week, March 14th to the 23rd, Missouri and Oklahoma. We'll probably get a few Sooners here before then. But March 21 through the 30th, the state of Arkansas, they're all out playing. And I don't know what's going on in Louisiana because they got 2 dates. April 10th through the 14th. I guess they party hard. They got to rest up, and then they come back on the 18th through the 27th. They stay on break. So maybe there's something to that. We got to investigate. So there's no other announcements of upcoming events. We'll proceed to the consent agenda. These are of a routine nature, do not merit individual discussion, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Director Garcia, second by Director Trustee. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The consent agenda is adopted. Now, we have one item under old business, and it's to consider resolution R-24-235. And ask city attorney to read by title.
Mayor, this is Resolution R-24-235, a resolution declaring a certain structure located at 234 Garden Street a nuisance and condemning same pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code. That concludes your reading. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Dobbs-Smith, seconded by Director Trustee. And staff report will be provided by our city attorney, Mr. Brian Albright.
Thank you, Mayor. As I indicated at the agenda meeting, this was on your agenda as old business because it was tabled. It had to come back. Since the time that you tabled it with instructions to work with the family, we have been able to do so. They have an open permit for a new roof. Work has begun. I believe that there is an intention to deal with some of the window issues too, but the roof is first and foremost. I think that their permit was for $30,000. So we're very happy with that progress. With that, Mayor, you could table this again, or if you just would vote no, perhaps we could bring it back if we ever need to.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second on recommendation of Mr. Albright that we actually vote on this. I think a vote is better than tabling because, we'll, like you said, if we see a lack of progress, if that's such a thing, work not being done, then we can bring it back. So, I guess the recommendation is they're moving forward, so we're happy with that. They were doing exactly what we were going to do, and we appreciate that. And so let's do a roll call vote.
Is there going to be discussion?
Pardon?
Is there discussion?
Oh, certainly.
I spoke with Ms. Henderson today, and she told me the roof was complete. So is the vote to, or what is the vote for?
You're going to vote no to not condemn.
Correct.
That would be an option.
The motion always comes in the affirmative, so the motion is to condemn. My recommendation is that you vote no, because the progress is being made. I have not driven by there this week, so they must have made a lot of progress since last week. I knew that they had started. I didn't think that they had completed. But
I drove by on the way here, and there, like the roof looks like it's complete. There were people 2 weeks ago on top of the roof with all kinds of stuff, so all that stuff is gone now.
excellent.
We didn't have anybody sign up for this, did
No,
we?
sir.
Yeah, okay. Any additional discussion amongst directors?
Just appreciate the board's patience and cooperation.
Oh, this is the way it's supposed to work.
Yes, sir.
That's
If we
right.
can get it
Yeah.
the best way.
That's right.
Please call the roll.
Director Holliday.
No.
Beard.
No.
Dobbs-Smith.
No.
Garcia.
No.
Trustee.
No.
Mayor McCabe.
No. Motion to condemn fails. We'll move into a public hearing on the issuance of wastewater revenue bonds for the purpose of financing a portion of the costs of betterments and improvements to the wastewater system of the city of Hot Springs, Arkansas. And our city attorney, Mr. Brian Albright, will lead this discussion.
Mayor, this is a portion of your meeting that's set aside pursuant to public notice to have a hearing on an upcoming item on your agenda, Agenda 7, which is a wastewater revenue bond. At this point, you can open the meeting for public comments if there are any.
Okay, the public comment section is open to the public. Anybody like to come forward and address the board on this matter? There being no,
I can
Oh.
do this now, or we can talk later.
why don't we do it later?
Okay.
Thank you. Well, who said you're not public? So, we'll consider the public hearing closed at this time, and then we'll move into new business. And we have two items under new business. First is consider resolution R-25-44 5 and ask city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R-25-45, a resolution authorizing the purchase of certain vehicles pursuant to Arkansas Code annotated section 1458-104, 19-11-249, and Hot Springs Code 2-6-1 at Seek. That concludes your reading. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
All right.
Motion.
Go ahead. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, Greg. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. This is a resolution for the City of Hot Springs to purchase vehicles off of the state contract that are being replaced. Like Brian said, Arkansas law and the City of Hot Springs ordinance permit the purchase of vehicles through a contract administered by the state. Also, Act 410 of 2009 allows new motor vehicles purchased from the licensed automobile dealership located in Arkansas for an amount not to exceed the fleet price awarded by the state. At this time, there are 25 vehicles that need to be purchased in this manner. These vehicles are all budgeted in the 2025 budget approved by the board in November 2024. There's an attachment with a summary of vehicles recommended by staff. In addition, detailed information is offered on each purchase with a vehicle ordering form and listing from the state contract. Total purchase price of all these vehicles is $1,103,098. Of this amount, $113,813 will be funded by general fund, $628,000 will be funded by police fund, $41,457 will be funded by animal services, $50,770 will be funded by the fire department, $92,364 will be funded by water, $95,978 will be funded by wastewater, $40,258 will be funded by airport, and $40,367 will be funded by utilities fund. Funds for general, police, and fire will be provided by short-term financing. And also, the replaced vehicles will be sold by surplus on our city's auction website, GovDeals. And I'd be able to answer any questions, hopefully.
Very good. Any questions of Greg? All right. Thank you. Do we have anybody sign up?
No, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Please call the roll.
Director Beard.
Aye.
Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holiday.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. Our final action item of the evening is to consider ordinance O-25-07, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title.
So moved.
Director Trustee, second by Director Garcia. I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and read by title. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Please read by title.
Ordinance O-25-07, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of wastewater revenue bonds for the purpose of financing a portion of the cost of betterments and improvements to the wastewater system of the City of Hot Springs, Arkansas, providing for the payment of the principal of and the interest on the bonds, prescribing other matters related thereto, and declaring an emergency. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Director Garcia, seconded by
Second.
Director Trustee. So a staff report will be provided by Ms. Karen Scott, Finance Director. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. The City of Hot Springs, Arkansas proposes to issue its wastewater revenue bonds in one or more series and the maximum aggregate principal amount of $72,500,000 for the purpose of financing a portion of the costs of acquiring, constructing, and equipping betterments and improvements to the city's wastewater system, including particularly without limitation, wastewater treatment plant improvements and improvements to gravity mains, force mains, and pump stations. To further secure the bonds, the city may provide a debt service reserve fund in the maximum principal amount of $7,250,000 in the form of a surety bond, debt service reserve insurance policy, or like instrument. A public hearing concerning the proposed issuance of the bonds and the reserve obligation was just held. The issuance costs and final principal and interest requirements will be available once the bonds have been sold. Tonight, we have Bob Wright with Cruz and Associates, who's anxiously waiting to discuss the materials that are at your desk. We also have Ryan Bowman with the Friday Firm, who is our legal counsel, and Jack Trumper and Leanne Burnett with Stevens, Inc., who are our underwriters. Bob?
Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Bob Wright with Cruz and Associates, City's Municipal Advisor. As you know, we've gone through this for a while, getting ready for tonight. I handed out to you earlier the final pricing report. We can go through it and we can answer any questions. I think just to cover the pertinent points, and I'm glad that Leanne and Jack showed up here tonight with Stevens. They really showed out for the city and ultimately for the ratepayers. Stevens did a lot of pre-marketing last week, getting the offering documents out that Ryan provided, working on various institutions and retail clients all of last week and into yesterday. Went into the market this morning, and a lot of times luck plays a big role in this, and we got into the market as the interest rates they have been dropping the last couple of weeks, and we're dropping today. The 10-year Treasury started out at a 4.21. I saw it get as low as 4.13 before rebounding back up to 4.21. A lot of uncertainty with the tariffs, a lot of uncertainty with the economy, things going on. But what that provides to your ratepayers is a good timing, good benefit. I was going to give Director Webb some kudos because he was talking about his thoughts that interest rates would be going down. Case in point, from what we presented and went through these numbers in detail back on February 11th, kind of giving you the pre-pricing thoughts and where we were. What Stevens was able to lock in today saved the ratepayers from what we showed you on February 11th, $6.77 million. That's how effective their marketing was of the bonds, taking advantage of the lower interest rates. So the ratepayers reap the benefits. We were thinking that we were going to be north of a 5% overall borrowing cost. When we talked to you back on the 11th, we were at a 5.13 was projected, and they were able to lock it in at a 4.84%. So they did a very good job. The construction amount is the same amount that we've been talking all along. I included in this package on the very last page, just to kind of show you, and then they sent this over to us late in the afternoon, the coast to coast, the number of investors, the names of the institutions that wanted to invest in the city of Hot Springs. We had a roughly $70 million transaction, so $70 million worth of bonds, and they had orders in excess of $170 million. So we had a $100 million excess of desire to invest their money in the city of Hot Springs. And you can see some of the largest names. Mackay Shields, one of the larger funds out on the West Coast, actually wanted to get $47 million investment into the city of Hot Springs. So you can see the total list there. The one thing I did not have, they also had, it was not on this last page, but they had retail orders. Retail is mom and pop, the local investors in Arkansas that are not as interest rate sensitive. And they had 5.105 million in orders from the retail, from the moms and pops that are investing at $5,000 and $10,000 at a time. And that's an outstanding number. So they did a very good job. Ultimately, the ratepayers win on this. We have discussed for months that we don't have a lot of time. ADQ is pushing us with a consent order, that we have to meet this. So with the pricing today and locking that in, and then Ryan with finalizing the documents, we'll close the transaction with your approval tonight, close it on April 15th, where the funds will be available to continue this project.
Very good. Any questions of Bob? Director? Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. Bob, this oversubscription, how do you determine what each potential investor actually winds up with? Do you just go down the list? Do you split it up? If
Ultimately,
they bid 47 million, did they get 25 million, or what? How does that work?
That's a good question. I don't know what the ultimate, and Stevens might could speak to that, what the ultimate allocation to who the investors, but when they go out at 9 o'clock this morning, and here's they went up with a preliminary scale, last week and kind of indications of where we think the rates would be. But we went out with the official pricing scale this morning. And let's just say that Micaiah Shields says, at that interest rate that you're showing me, we want 47 million.
Right.
But when you have an oversubscription, you have too much, and you basically want to chase them away. That sets the market. You want to get a lower interest rate for your ratepayers until you end up with just north of the $70 million in orders. So they take the $170 million in orders, they start lowering the rates on a repricing schedule. They went out at 10:30 with a repricing. And a lot of these probably pulled their orders because the rates were lower. So that's ultimately what they're trying to accomplish is until we get, below the order, the $70 million, we need that many in orders until we get a rate that's too low and we start losing too much. You kind of set it right where that maintains.
Okay.
So Micaiah Shields could have gotten all of it. They could have gotten zero if they backed out once we started lowering rates.
Sure. Okay. Very
Very
good.
good. Good question. Director Garcia?
Thank you, Mayor. With the 6.7 million favorable variance that you mentioned, does that impact our rates any? Will that mean that we can not have as much increase? Or
The water and sewer rates that, as far as the rate
I know
ordinance?
Mr. Jackson's not here, but
And that's a good question. It gives you, not on this transaction, an ability to lower those rates right now because we're still pretty
we're
tight.
locked into that, but I wondered if that would be favorable in the going
Absolutely.
forward.
That gives you a lot of flexibility. That's a couple $100,000 per year lowering the mortgage on this one transaction. So that goes into and factors in the future when you're looking at, when you get the audits, you look back and see what your coverage factor was and what your margins. And that $200,000 is just money that you do not have to collect from Omnipod on an annual basis. So they were able to basically bank that 6.7 that is not going to be collected. And if you have the ability in a year or two or whenever that would be to adjust rates, absolutely. And we were able to accomplish that again. And we've talked about the redemption provisions where if interest rates do drop, that we can come back in and refinance. And they were able to accomplish this with a 5-year redemption. So that gives us a lot of flexibility as well.
Sure does. That's good.
Thank you very much.
Any additional comments or questions of Bob? Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Did we have anybody sign up to speak?
No, sir.
Discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Director Dobbs Smith.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Trustee.
Aye.
Holliday.
Aye.
Beard.
Aye.
Mayor McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted.
Mayor, we do have an emergency clause, which is found in Section 26. With your permission, I'll read it in its entirety. Section 26, it is hereby ascertained and declared that the project is immediately needed for the preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, and to remove existing hazards thereto. The project cannot be accomplished without the issuance of the bonds. Therefore, it is declared that an emergency exists, and this ordinance, being necessary for the preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, shall be enforced and take effect immediately upon and after its passage. That concludes reading of the emergency clause. If you would entertain a motion second to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Director Garcia, seconded by
Second.
Director Dobbs Smith. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Emergency clause is adopted. That concludes the business items that come before the board. Now we'll move to Board of Directors items for discussion. Directors have items for discussion. Director Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. The Gallery Walk has been helping downtown Hot Springs for 35 years. I have heard from some senior citizens and gallery owners regarding our new paid parking, and there are some concerns and some questions that have arisen because of the time frame that the paid parking is to 8 o'clock. And there's been, from several seniors in my district, I've heard from that this places a burden on them. This is something they attend monthly for, and it helps the the galleries as well. When people come downtown to shop, and they will also eat at a restaurant downtown. And there's a concern if we could consider amendment to our parking ordinance to look at it at our, possibly at our agenda meeting, wherever we could maybe amend or what consideration to be given for waiving parking fees after 5 p.m. on the first Friday of each month, or something that would help not hinder our downtown businesses and our galleries, as well as our citizens that want to go downtown for these events, but have a concern now because of their limited budgets. So I wanted to ask the board if that's something for consideration.
Director Holliday?
Thank you. I'll just echo that I've also heard over the last few weeks similar sentiment. I think it's definitely worth taking a look at. I do want to, if staff is going to prepare something either for the next agenda meeting or whatever we decide, also I think we need to look a little holistically at everything, kind of what the impact of this might be, but also are there other things, because I don't want to come back every 2 weeks with another thing. And so if just something to think about, I'm happy to brainstorm other things that may come up in the future, but I do think this program does need to get going, and we just need to get going. And so that would be my only caution or request moving forward, is that we definitely consider any other thing that may come up. I know you don't know what you don't know. We're going to have surprises, but for the sake of efficiency and for our staff and for the public, I don't want to keep changing the plan every 2 weeks because something comes up. So, but my initial sentiment is, a lot of people have come to me as well, and being downtown and my organization as a gallery downtown as well. So, it's been a conversation. So.
I would include look at what we did with the residents and looking for employees to
I was going
have
to bring
some free
that up
parking
as
too.
well today, because we gave we were not charging downtown residents through the balance of 25, and I've been championing the cause of the hospitality workers with a discount, and then when the residents had no financial cost to park on the street through the balance of the year, I think it's appropriate for us to allow the hospitality workers to be in the secondary zone at no cost, not on Central, and then we can reassess. I know that we got to get some history as to what the revenue stream is going to be, because we definitely want to have a good revenue stream in order for us to be able to finance a construction of a second parking garage with revenue bonds. So I think Bill will have a better handle on that towards the end of the year, going into the next year. And so that doesn't mean that we won't register those individuals, because we'll need to know that their car is permitted to be there without a fee. So we can kind of bundle some of this stuff. I agree with Director Holliday. We do a lot of events, and and Bill, I know that at times when there's events, back in the old days when we had meters, you would have a bag over the top of it. And I still think we have some glitches. I was helping, I wasn't necessarily helping, I was watching this young lady, try to get the picture of the QR code so she could pay, and she was on Exchange Street, and she said it downloaded, but it wasn't working for her. And I told her, well, then if it's not working for you, don't worry about it. Well, I don't want to get a ticket. I said, you're fine. You won't get a ticket. She says, well, but I don't want to get a ticket. I said, I'm the mayor of Hot Springs, you're not getting a ticket. Oh, okay. So,
If you're having trouble, make sure you see the mayor
yeah.
at that very moment.
Bill?
Mayor, when we talk about doing that for Gallery Walk, we're gonna get Big Steam, we're gonna get Bridge Street Live, and all that's good. I mean, should we be thinking about bringing something back to the board for any type of event that's down there, downtown? Because it's gonna be really difficult to do these one-offs, and Lance,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to see if our soft, I mean, I don't even know how to turn it off.
Or
you know,
look at
5
our
o'clock.
time. Does it need to go to 8 o'clock? Or does 5 o'clock need to be the cutoff?
Well, do we?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't either, I mean.
Well, let's
I-
have the staff take a look at it, you know, we'll, see what options you need to talk to your vendor
Yeah,
and see what
we
their
can do.
capabilities are. Their capabilities weren't as vast as we kind of thought they might be. Or we threw an option or a request out to them that they had not heard before. So, and they're having to rewrite a program or have already rewritten a program. So let's give Bill and his staff a little bit of time to figure this out. But you are right, we do so many festivals downtown that,
I mean, that's what I would
that,
suggest.
you know, whether it's Hill Wheatley Park or Bridge Street Live or, you know, like you just said, you know.
It'd just be nice if whatever we come up with fits, so that we don't, like I said, we shouldn't come back here every few weeks or once a month to debate the merit of an event. I don't think that's what Director Garcia is implying, or the gallery owners, but yeah, is there something, and then, but more importantly, can the software in the system even accommodate such a thing, so.
Well, and I think one thing we can do is, and again, you know, we're operating with no history, and that's really what makes it difficult.
Right.
I mean, we may be able to get enough history over the next 2 or 3 months to kind of see what are those collections, or what are those usages by the hour.
Right.
And we may see that maybe 8 o'clock's not a good hour. Maybe it's to 5 o'clock or to 6 o'clock, and then it,
I think
you know,
6
and then it's free after 6.
It was 7
we
to
still
7,
know.
wasn't it? Monday through
Lance, I
Friday?
think it was 6. Yeah.
Yeah, the parking
So-
meters were 7 to 7.
So we may want to look at the time frame that would accommodate really any of the festivals that we have down there.
All right, so Director Dobbs Smith.
No, I'm not going to dismiss this. I had a little shout out for our weekend wastewater warriors. We had a little stinky problem over on Quapaw and Fern, and Deputy City Manager Lance Spicer facilitated getting someone out there, and the problem is no more. We thank you very much.
Very good.
Monty Ledbetter's with us tonight.
Director Holliday?
I do.
Without that bond.
Director Holliday?
Thank you. I also wanted to voice some appreciation to all of the people and the organizers this weekend. There was a rally downtown on Arlington Lawn in support of Hot Springs National Park and our staff and rangers. We've all heard about some kind of sweeping cuts and shifts in funding for a lot of federal agencies. You know, because of that, our visitor center will be closed 2 days a week moving forward. And unfortunately, right in front of spring break. And so, you know, I think it was something that was very appreciated. Anecdotally, I heard from some of the park staff, but there was about 300 people that came down in statewide media. It was part of rallies all over the country, and it was not a protest, but it was a rally just in support to show that, you know, those of us here in Hot Springs who live and visit really appreciate the fact that our national park is here. We want to see that it continue and be supported, and we want to support the staff that makes that happen. So just some gratitude for everyone who participated and everyone who helped organize that. And I believe that they're looking at doing a follow-up on March 23rd. So we'll probably see a few more rallies just to make sure that the parks know that we're here for them and we love them, and we're happy that we're part of the national park system.
Very good. It's Director Garcia, Director Trustee?
I just want to clarify one thing that Bob mentioned. When he said that Stephen showed out for us today, that was in a positive way, right? Is what you're talking about? Yeah. Well, I just want to express appreciation to the entire team for this whole transaction, the patience that put into it, the thought and the work, and it has paid off by doing what we've done. So thank you very much.
Very good. Director Garcia?
If there's no other comments, I move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Who was that?
Second.
Director Dobbs Smith, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign. We are adjourned.
Is anyone signed up to?
That's allowed.